Welcome back to Unarmored Talk Podcast, everyone. If you're listening, I wish I could talk to you as well, but I hope you enjoy this voice. And if you're watching, thank you again for watching these amazing episodes. Today, we have another guest willing to remove their armor, to have some discussions without armor, to help people gain a better understanding of how emotions can influence the outcome of a situation. But if you think through them, man, I'm telling you guys, everyone, you could potentially increase the outcome in a positive way of situations while living. We got Michael White. He's a United States Army veteran. I think, Michael, you did what, 76 years, 77 years in, man?
I wish it's actually 13.
Hey, 12 months is enough, my friend, but 13 years, United States Army veteran. Y'all know I'm a Marine, so I'm not going to give him. I got much love for the Army. Go Soldiers, just for this episode. And if my memory serves me correctly, Michael, your dad is a Marine, right? He's a Marine.
Yes, Simple Five.
So you guys know the deal. Again, thank you so much for everything you've done for the year 2023. An amazing year. Getting ready. This will be our last episode this year. Well, of course, Nicole and I do a holiday message to close us out. But lots of money raised that went to Still Serving Incorporated. Check out www.stillservinginc.com to look at all the things that your viewership, you sharing these episodes, just clicking on the thumbnail or downloading the audio, you are helping us make a difference with these amazing, amazing students and helping us break the poverty cycle, not just in Pitt County, but hopefully around the world one day. So let's get right to it. Everyone, I got an amazing guest today. I don't have an amazing guest. I was fortunate and blessed to be connected with Michael White, but I'll tell you guys up front, could be a very emotional episode. Michael White was recently, diagnosed with stage 4 kidney, if you will, failure. And before we even get into the emotions behind this life challenge, Michael, up front, how can people help you at your current state? How can I help you?
Real easy. Um, just well, the big thing is pray for me
Yeah.
because that's the main thing I was telling about. Just pray for me. The other thing is if you know anyone that's willing to be a kidney donor, uh, go to go to your local hospital or kidney bank or wherever you want to call them. And also, if you want to, you can reach me at Michael L. White 33 at gmail.com, or you can call me, send me a text, 910-587-8276. And hopefully some progress could be made. And one of the things I will tell you that going through being a kidney donor, the two most important things that will get you disqualified is hypertension and diabetes.
Mm.
So those are the two big ones right there that will get you disqualified. But other than that, if anybody wants to bless me with an organ, I will appreciate it, and I will welcome you into my family. And it's not going to be one of those, well, I got an organ from you and that's it. I want to stay in touch and we become bonded as a family.
Yeah. And thank you again, man. I know, for having the energy and courage to even come on the show today. And you guys heard it, and I'll make sure your contact information is in the show notes. But everyone, get together. Let's collaborate, work together, share this episode, share the audio, share the video. Let's all come together, see if we can find a donor that's a good match for Michael, United States Army veteran. And he's got more
Oh,
things.
real
Yeah.
quick, I almost forgot. I'm O positive, so it
Okay.
doesn't matter
Got
the
it.
organ type.
Nice. Oh, positive. That makes it even better. And so let's rally up. Let's rally up around the world. Let's see if we can, get Michael a good kidney, if you will. He's got a lot more work to do on this earth. That's just my belief. Well, let's just get into it, my friend. Here it is. My belief is you're healthy, doing some things. All of a sudden, you get this diagnosis. What emotions went through your mind or have been going through your mind that a lot of folks don't even know you're dealing with when they see you?
I was at the believe it or not, um, I was at work, and then of course, my grandmother passed. So I went to Mississippi, which is like a 7 hour drive from where I am. And the whole time I was there, I was throwing up, and I didn't know what was going on. I thought it was the food that I was partaking from the repast. And so the whole entire time I was just throwing up, throwing up, throwing up. Couldn't keep nothing on my stomach. And I tried different, medications and stuff, and nothing wouldn't stay. So I drove back from Mississippi back to Fort Worth, Texas. And so while I was at work, I was still throwing up, and my supervisor was like, "You need to go get checked out," because she thought I had COVID.
Mm.
So I go to the clinic, do the blood work, and I would say the next day, which was that following Tuesday, uh the doctor was like, you need to go immediately to the hospital ASAP. And he was talking, and I'm like, what's going on? He said, your GFRN, basically, long story short, there was some issues with my blood.
Mm.
And he said, I need to go to the hospital ASAP. So I went to the VA hospital in Dallas, got checked in, come to find out two things was going wrong. My blood pressure was extremely high. At one point, it was like 262 over 155,
Oh my
90.
goodness.
And they was like, oh my gosh, are you having a stroke? I'm like, no, I'm fine. What's going on? And so they was like, we got to admit you ASAP. So they gave me some medication to lower the blood pressure. And so I didn't know nothing was going on until probably about 3 days after I got admitted to the hospital. And the doctor was like, I got some news to share with you.
Mm.
Um, your kidneys are no longer performing. I'm
And
like,
both of them or just one?
no, both,
Wow.
both. I'm like, what is really going on? He said, first of all, your kidneys no longer work. You're below, you're below the 15% of function capability. So you have to start dialysis immediately. And right then and there, it's like everything just crashed. Everything was
Mm.
spiraling out of control. And the whole time I'm there, I'm like, what is going on? You gotta be
Right.
kidding me. You know, so you tell me I went from almost having a stroke, because that's what everybody was thinking. I should have stroke. I should have been dead. With those numbers, they said nobody, and even the doctor was saying nobody should not come away with those numbers and still alive.
Right.
And so then they prepared me for the catheter they put in my chest, and it was just, all I did was just cry. And
Mm.
I'm like, I cannot believe this. This is like, why? And
And
so
and Michael, if I
go ahead.
may, how many years ago was that? When was this?
This, believe it or not, this was back in 2021, but the civilian hospital, they went and retroactivated my condition back to 2017 because they got access to my VA records.
So
And
so
there was signs of my condition getting worse at that time, but it was never diagnosed properly.
right, so essentially your kidneys actually started to fail approximately about 6 years ago.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. So here you are now,
It
you know.
was a hereditary disease that I had. So it
Okay.
jumped from, go ahead. So
No,
so
you're good, Michael.
basically so basically it jumped from one generation to the next. And the thing about it was mine was in the advanced stages where, like, even the doctor said, even if they had caught it early, the damages would still been severe because I would still probably end up doing dialysis, but it would have been for a short period of time. And so it was just a nightmare. So I was
Yeah.
in the hospital for like about 14 days. And my job at the time was like, when are you coming back to work? And I was just telling my supervisor, look, I'm trying to survive. I'm not even thinking about work. I'm trying to survive. I said, when I'm ready to talk, I will tell you. So upon getting released, it's like thoughts were going through my head, like, where do I go from here? Where do
Yeah.
I go from here?
Because I was going to ask you, I believe, Michael, a lot of people will experience a major life challenge or just challenges, period. And that's what I was
Oh
going to ask
yes.
you. What thought, like, what emotions did you experience, and how the heck did you think through them, man?
Well, when I went back to work, because I was doing a mentorship for some kids, and I was contemplating like, what do I need to do? And keep in mind, my job, they cut my hours. Well, they cut my lunch out so where I could go and do dialysis, and it was only for three. It's 3 hours, and so, and I'm sitting up here thinking, and I talked to my doctors, and they said the best thing we can tell you, you're gonna have to resign from your job. And I'm like, but what about these kids that I'm mentoring?
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, Mr. White, if you want to be around for your kids, you're gonna have to resign from your job. So I resigned from my job, and I got a lot of flack, negative and positive.
Right.
The negative flack came from the kids because they felt like I was leaving them. Like I took them to the promised land, and now it's like I can't take you no further. And the whole time, thoughts in my mind was like, man, you know what? Why don't you just end it all? And that's
Mm,
when suicide started coming in, and it was heavy.
mm,
At one point, you can't urinate like you're supposed to. You can't drink certain fluids. You everything is like restricted. I'm talking about, imagine one day you go from drinking as much as you can to you can't. And certain foods that I used to eat, I can't eat those because it's all part of a new diet regime. And the whole time, suicide was being amped even more. And it was like, just end it all, man. End it all. It's
wow.
not getting better, it's getting worse. And at one point, I was praying, and I'm like, because I'm reading, I read the Bible, and I believe so much in, like, okay, you know what, God, you can do all this here. And so I prayed, and it's like God didn't even answer my prayers because it's like my condition just stayed the same. It did not improve or nothing. And at one point, I started listening to suicide even greater. And so I went to group therapy, and I'm like, you know what? I can't take this. I can't take this. I'm ready to quit. Doesn't make sense. I'm in the finest shape of my life, and all this is coming. Everything just spiraling out of control. And so one guy was like, "Just hang on in there. It's gonna get better." And so then I reached out to Monty, and I told Monty, "Look, man, I'm at the end of my rope. I'm about to drive this vehicle into a lake, into one of the lakes here in Fort Worth area." And I said, "I can't do this."
Mm,
Monty was like, "Why are you giving up on yourself?" I said, "Monty, this condition is hard, man.
mm,
It's hard. I can't. I mean, I lost. I had to resign from my job. I gotta wait 6 months before Medicare kicks in, so I can have additional income because my health condition is the reason why I cannot work." And it's like Monty was like, "Just hang on in there, hang on in there." And I stood right there at the lake, looking at the water, and I got my foot on the brake. The vehicle's already in drive. I just got to take my foot off the brake, wham, right into the water. And so then another close friend reached out to me, and he was like, "Man, I'm not gonna say what, but something in my spirit told me to reach out to you. It's gonna be okay, my brother. Hang on in there. Hang on in there. This is not what you want to do." And I'm like, this is something I want to do. I'm tired, man. I'm tired being the burden. I'm tired of nothing's getting well. And so he was like, man, just hang on in there. Hang on in there. Don't throw away your 13 years and you got your kids. Don't throw those years away because something's going to come out of this. So I left the lake, went back home. I said, okay. And I got on my knees, I prayed. I said, God, I just want to be well. I just want to be well. I want to be healed. I refuse to believe you brought me this far and this is my legacy. So as time went on, I kind of had a positive attitude. However, suicidal thoughts never went away. They were still there. Just
Mm.
like just like you try to rub your skin thinking it's gonna change color. No, the suicidal thoughts, they were still there. The only thing that was different was I didn't give in to them. And at this point, speeding up the clock, so we come down to this year. Around about that Friday after Mother's Day, my wife says she's going to divorce me.
Wow.
And it's like, wow, you going to divorce me? And she was like, hey, it's everything. Your PTSD, your health condition, all this stuff was a contributing factor. You're not treating me like I'm supposed to be treated. And then here comes suicidal thoughts again. Now it's even stronger. And I'm talking about like I could hear it clearly, like, do it, do it, do it. And I'm like, you know what? And I was mad. And I took myself out of the house and I went to one of the local parks and I stood up there and I yelled at God. I'm like, God, you say you a good person. Everybody I read in the Bible, you blessed them with something. They went through something and they got a blessing out of it. Where is my blessing coming from? Why have you forsaken me? Why have I given so much to a country and yet I can't even get nothing back in return?
Mm.
Why? Why? And I'm sitting up here crying. And I'm like, this is so unfair. And I'm like, I served my country. I gave everything I have, everything. And I said, and I asked God, what did I do to anybody? Who did I wrong? Why? Why am I suffering? Why is it that I'm going through all of this? Why? Why me? Why? And I kept asking God, why have you forgotten me? Why? Why is it I'm asking for help? I cannot get help. Why? 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 And God didn't answer. And I'm like, you know what? I'm tired, God. I'm ready to end it. I'm ready to end my life. I'm tired of living. I'm tired. I don't care nothing about being a dad. I don't care nothing. Everything is going wrong. Everything. And in a brief instance, it's like God just put me out of my misery. God allowed me to dream. You want to commit suicide? Let me show you what it's going to look like. So in this dream, I was dead. People were crying. My mom was crying. My dad was crying. My sisters, people that I served in the military was crying. It made the news. Everybody was like, why did he do this? That was the whole backdrop. Why? Where did
Mm.
we fail him? And at one point, my mom was just crying so hard they had to admit her to the hospital because she was saying, why did my son not reach out to me? Why did he not reach out to me? And my dad was like, why didn't he reach? Why didn't he just go get help? And that's what everybody was saying. And it got even so deep to where Monty, who you know good and well, Monty was at the funeral. He was presiding over it. He was like, that's my little brother. I don't even know why he didn't reach out to me. I wish I could have helped him. I wish I could have been there for him. Tell him it's going to be okay. I'm going to find somebody. We're going to get your story out there. We're going to see if we can get you help because you got a purpose. And so the funeral, you know, I saw the funeral. Everybody was just asking questions why. And then, of course, because of my faith, there I am before judgment. And God was like, just cast him into the lake of Hades. And all I'm seeing is my body being thrown over this cliff, going into this lake of fire. And everybody that I saw, good close friends that committed suicide, I saw all of them burning, burning. And I'm like, before I even hit the lake of fire, I woke up
Mm.
and I said, you know what, God, you're not going, I know who you are. I know that you're not like a drive through where I could just put in the blessing and then I drive around and I get right then and there.
Right.
I said, God, I'm going to trust you that you know what you're doing. I said, you know how I feel about this condition. I said, God, if it's possible for Christmas, I don't want no gifts. I don't want no thank you for your service. I don't want none of that. I just want a kidney so I could go back and serve my true purpose. And the whole time I'm like, what is my purpose? And one of my friends was like, dude, how about, how about you become a speaker? He said, there's people dealing with suicide. And I told him the same thing I'm telling you and the rest of your listeners. He said, man, you actually got a chance to go into an area where most people don't come back from. He said, man, that's powerful. He
Yeah.
said, there ain't nothing but God. And so he was like, why don't you become a speaker, a motivational speaker? Because somebody needs to hear your story like, man, I went over here. You don't know, you don't want to go there. And there's always hope. And what I'm trying to tell your listeners and people that's listening to this podcast, there's hope.
Yeah.
My hope is to one day get a kidney and to one day share my story. And so people understand there's hope. There's always hope.
Well,
And
well,
and
well, I,
that's pretty much it.
well, I'll tell you, Michael, you have done that. You know, God has blessed Monty Hay and you and put people in your life that we can't even explain and how we got connected. You and I've talked before this recording, and I will tell you, you've blessed me, you've inspired me, and that in Monday, because this is a Saturday, everyone. This is December 9th. I'm gonna look at the time here. It's December 9th, about 5:39 Eastern Standard Time. We're gonna publish this on Monday, December the 11th. And I believe you've already arrived. In other words, you're gonna inspire, motivate. And this episode, I believe, is gonna help save lives. Michael, I thank you so much for removing your armor. I thank you so much for sharing the power of a belief and faith, the power of asking for help. I mean, you didn't have to call Monty. And you sure as heck didn't have to call your other friend. But that was a choice, man. And I'm thankful that I met you. Um and and so, I know you're doing great things and I know you have a lot going on, my friend, and you're just amazing. If I have any challenges anywhere near you, I'll watch this episode multiple times. Is there anything before I let you go and you and I'll call you, but is there anything else you would like to leave the listeners and viewers, my friend?
The thing I want to leave behind is I want to fulfill a legacy, as my friend would say, that's incomplete. Because again, having a condition like this, I just want people to know. Because I even had one lady say she would give me a kidney, but she's afraid that she might give the disease and stuff. And it was
Mm,
some racial undertones in the midst of what she said. What I want to share is this condition. It changes. It does have a negative impact only if you allow it to.
mm,
My hope is whoever is to get a kidney, and I'm sure somebody knows somebody that has like one of these outreach ministries or outward social platforms, and that's all I want to be used for. I'm not trying to make no money off of my thing where I'm just a guest speaker and I'm making money off of this. No, I want people to hear that I made it. It was hard, and at the same time, I remain positive. And there's people that believe in me, like Monty, who I'll always consider a brother. And then there's a lot of other people that look up to me. And the only thing I will say is, I just want to do this because I got 4 kids, and even my girls. I told them I was going to do this, and my oldest was saying, "Dad, share your story.
Yeah.
Share your story," because she said, "Dad, I want you to be around. I want you to be there when one day if I decide to have grandkids, I want them to see you."
Hmm.
And even the rest of them, they was like, "Dad, you got a lot to offer, but Dad, just don't ever let suicide take you away from us because that's unfair." And I gave my
Yeah.
word. I said, "I'm gonna go. I'm gonna do as much as I can." I already shared my story on Facebook. I kind of edited a little bit because it's, I'm long winded, so I'm sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
But the next phase, yeah, but the next phase now is I'm gonna try to put some of it on some of the news anchors here in the DFW area, and my mission now is just looking for a kidney donor so one day people could hear my story, so I could be a blessing to them just like you have allowed me to be on this platform. So I thank you and others who are listening to this, and I just pray that whoever, just look into your heart. If you feel that you want to do this, go for it. If you feel like you may not be that person, find somebody that wants to, because again, I want to be a blessing. I don't want to be a burden. I just want to be a blessing. So that way I can give back to my sisters and brothers who served on the battlefield. And if that's not too much to ask, I just, again, pray on it. And if you're still unsure what the process and all it is, go to YouTube. They have a lot of videos that show you what, even like what I go through, dialysis, peritoneal. It shows you what I do on a day-to-day basis. It's not a good thing, but it's what's keeping me alive for my kids, my faith in God, and one day, eventually, a donor. So thank y'all.
No, thank you again, Michael. Love the heck out of you. I will continue to pray for you and continue to help you as well. And I just thank you so much. And you've already done enough as far as inspiring the heck out of me. And I know you're going to do more. But everyone, you guys know the deal. Do what we can to share this episode. Like Michael said, look in your heart. And again, if life is rough and suicide becomes, very real to you, listen to Michael. Reach out to people, get help, but don't do that. Don't commit suicide. Okay, Michael, I love you, man, and I love the
Love you too.
army just for this episode, Michael. Just
Okay.
I'll put a smile on your face. But everyone, again, we'll see you in 2024 for episodes. Nicole and I do a holiday message, but this will be the last show for 2023. It's been a blessing. I pray that everyone is out there being safe, and let's see if we can get Michael some help. Michael, love you, man. Happy holidays,
Love you
Merry
too.
Christmas, my friend. And I'll give you a call after this show. Everyone, we'll see you in 2024. Until then, take care. God bless you. God bless your family members, and God bless you.